They often create a sense that your name is being discussed somewhere, that unseen forces are circling closer than they should be, or that something significant is about to reach you at any moment. In reality, these kinds of narratives are more about stirring emotion than delivering truth. They work by activating curiosity and anxiety at the same time, making ordinary uncertainty feel like a hidden event unfolding around you. When you strip that away, what remains is a reminder to slow down and stay grounded in what can actually be verified in your life. Your home, your personal space, and your private information are not part of some mystical signal or unseen storyline. They are simply aspects of your life that deserve practical care and attention. If anything ever involves your safety or personal details, the responsible response is not panic or interpretation, but calm awareness and sensible steps to protect your privacy through trusted channels and real-world actions. It's easy for emotionally charged language to make everything feel larger than it is, as if every message carries a secret meaning directed only at you. But most of the time, that feeling is just the mind reacting to suggestion. What truly matters is staying anchored in what you know for certain, not what is implied through dramatic storytelling. When you step back, you regain clarity. Your life is not being directed by hidden messages or invisible forces, but by your choices, your awareness, and the information you can actually confirm. In that space of clarity, fear loses its grip, and what's left is a steadier sense of control over your own environment and decisions. Top of form, bottom of form, and heaven does not want you to lose what is knocking. Archangel Michael is already standing near your home, commanding, "No darkness will cross this threshold. Only light, only blessings, only miracles." Your address is sealed in heaven, written in divine fire, and what was meant to disturb you is now turning into your confirmation. Stay with me, because tomorrow, when the world wakes up, something new will be waiting at your door. So listen, you must not ignore this. You must not treat it lightly. This is your divine invitation. Heaven knows your name, heaven knows your house, and heaven knows the miracle you have been waiting for. Before tomorrow comes, prepare your heart, because your life will never be the same. Hold on, stay with me, because the moment you are hearing this, heaven is opening a page about you. Someone is asking about your address, but not in the way you think. Heaven has shifted the meaning, because what is being asked is not, "Where do you live?" but, "Where do blessings belong?" And the answer is clear. Blessings belong at your door. Listen carefully. Archangel Michael whispered your name last night in the courts of heaven. He lifted your life like a letter sealed with fire and said, "This one has waited long enough. This one deserves the breakthrough." That is why the heavens are preparing to visit your address. That is why this message found you before tomorrow. Don't scroll. Stay with me, because in the next few hours, heaven is setting something in motion that has your name on it. Think of your home. Every corner, every wall has a story. The tears you cried in silence, the laughter that faded too quickly, the prayers whispered in the dark. All of them have been recorded. And heaven has decided, this house must carry joy again. Someone is asking about your address, but they don't know. The angels already marked it with divine protection. Beloved soul, do you know why you're here? Why you're watching this exact moment? Because tomorrow is not just another day. Tomorrow is a doorway. And if you step through with faith, what you thought was ordinary will turn extraordinary. But only those who stay connected will see it unfold. Hold on, stay with me, because your story is about to change chapters. Let me tell you something powerful. When heaven writes your name, no force on earth can erase it. Your address is not just a location, it is a testimony. Someone may be searching, but heaven has already found you. And tonight, as you prepare your heart, God is saying, My child, I am visiting your home. I am visiting your life. I am sending what you have been waiting for. This is not coincidence. This is divine timing. And if you believe it, declare it right now in the comments. This is my address for blessings, because heaven needs your agreement before tomorrow. Hold on, stay with me, because the story is only deepening now. Someone asking about your address is not an accident. Heaven is showing you that when your name is spoken in unseen places, angels start to move. And right now, Archangel Michael is walking the very streets that lead to your home. He is declaring, this address is chosen. When people go through periods of reflection, they often become more sensitive to meaning in everyday moments. A conversation, a thought, or a sudden idea can feel significant simply because it resonates with something they have been processing internally. This doesn't come from external messages or predetermined signs. It comes from the way the mind connects emotion with experience. Humans naturally look for patterns when they are hoping for direction or reassurance, especially during uncertain times. That search for meaning can be powerful, but it works best when it stays grounded in reality and personal action, rather than expectation of guaranteed outcomes. Real change in life usually comes gradually, through decisions, timing, and effort, not sudden external confirmations. Still, reflection itself can be valuable. It can help clarify what you want, what you have outgrown, and what you're ready to build differently. A sense of shift often begins internally, long before anything visible changes outside. And while it may feel like life is pointing towards something specific, the most reliable guidance usually comes from steady choices, awareness, and the way you respond to your own needs over time, rather than interpreting events as fixed predictions or predetermined outcomes. In the spirit, your life has been lifted like a letter sealed with gold, and Archangel Michael himself has stamped it with the seal of divine protection. Stay with me, because your home is not just a place where you sleep, it is a chosen ground. Do you know what heaven showed me? Your walls shine brighter than you think. Every tear you cried in silence has become a diamond in the eyes of God. Every prayer whispered at midnight has become a light that angels follow. That is why your address is marked. That is why this message has come before tomorrow, to remind you that your house has already been written into heaven's plan. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael is not asking, where do you live? He is declaring, here is where blessings must land. Here is where miracles must arrive. Here is where the heavens will release abundance. So don't scroll away. Hold on, because right now, an unseen package is being wrapped in heaven, with your name written on it, and the delivery is not late. It is already on its way. Your life may have felt unnoticed. Your doors may have seemed closed. But listen to me. Heaven is sending a visitor. It may not come as a knock on your door. It may come as news, as a call, as a letter, as an opportunity that carries the scent of divine timing. Stay with me, because this is why you were chosen to hear this before tomorrow. God is saying, my child, I have heard you, I have seen you, and I am sending to your house what no one can steal. That's why Archangel Michael is stationed at your doorstep, like a guard with a flaming sword, making sure only light enters, making sure only blessings rest within. So, beloved, declare it now. My house is ready for heaven's delivery. Say it with faith. Write it. Believe it. Because tomorrow is a doorway, and faith is the key to step through. Hold on. Don't move, because this part carries something deeper. Someone asking about your home address is not about roads, maps, or directions. It's about heaven, signaling that your life has been marked for a shift. And listen closely, the heavens are not asking where you live, they are announcing where miracles will land. Stay with me. Imagine your house as a letter in the palm of God, your walls, your see. And today Archangel Michael is holding that letter, raising it before heaven's throne, saying, "This house belongs to light." A home can carry a lot more history than people realize. It holds ordinary days and difficult ones, moments of laughter and moments of quiet reflection. And over time, it becomes a kind of emotional archive of everything you have lived through inside it. When you have been through heavy seasons, it's natural for your mind to start assigning meaning to the space around you, as if the walls themselves remember what you went through. But what's really happening is simpler and more human. You're carrying memories, and your environment becomes the place where those memories feel most present. There's something deeply grounding about the idea of renewal after hardship, after long periods of stress, uncertainty, or emotional weight. Even small changes in how you feel can seem significant, as if life is about to shift in a noticeable way. That sense of anticipation is often your mind responding to hope. It's the part of you that wants things to improve, to feel lighter, to move into a more stable chapter. It doesn't require a supernatural explanation to be meaningful. It's already meaningful on its own, because it reflects resilience. It's also important to be careful with messages that frame everyday life as being chosen, predicted, or directed by outside forces. While that language can feel comforting in the moment, it can also blur the line between emotional encouragement and unrealistic certainty. Real change in life tends to happen gradually, through decisions, timing, effort, and support, not through hidden signals or predetermined outcomes tied to specific places. If your focus is on your home or your personal space, the most reliable track shift you can create is practical and emotional, making it safer, calmer, and more supportive of the life you want to build. That might mean reorganizing, letting go of things tied to difficult memories, or simply creating routines that help you feel more at ease. The idea of a miracle can still exist in a grounded sense, not as something that arrives announced or assigned to a location, but as the accumulation of small changes that eventually feel like relief. And when that kind of change comes, it usually feels less like a prophecy and more like finally exhaling after holding your breath for too long. My life is ready. My blessing is on its way. Because what you say in faith, heaven seals in power. Hold on, stay with me, because what you're about to hear is the moment everything turns. Someone asking about your address was never about confusion. It was about confirmation. Heaven has been tracing your house, not to bring trouble, but to deliver something that was written for you long ago. And right now, the delivery is closer than you think. Picture this. An angel stands at your gate, holding a scroll sealed with fire. On that scroll is your name. Inside that scroll is your miracle, your answered prayer, your long-awaited breakthrough. Archangel Michael is guarding it, making sure it arrives exactly where it belongs. And that place is your home. Beloved soul, tomorrow is the threshold. Tonight is the preparation. This is why you cannot scroll away. You need to know what happens next. When the delivery reaches your address, it won't knock like an ordinary package. It will show up as a phone call you weren't expecting, a message that shifts your heart, a door that suddenly opens when yesterday it was closed. Heaven's deliveries never come empty. They come wrapped in surprise, timed in perfection, and filled with joy. Stay with me. Your house is about to host something divine. The walls that once carried your silence will echo with laughter again. The rooms that once felt heavy will glow with peace again. This is not imagination. This is God answering your prayers in a form you will recognize. And when it happens, you will say, "Yes, this was the delivery heaven promised me." Archangel Michael is declaring, "No shadow shall block this. No delay shall stop this. The package belongs here, and here it will arrive." That's why this word came to you before tomorrow, so you would prepare your heart to receive it. Now speak this aloud with faith. My delivery is arriving. When people are in a state of heightened expectation, they often become more aware of their environment and begin interpreting ordinary experiences through a more symbolic lens. A quiet moment can feel unusually significant. A sudden thought can feel like intuition, and emotional fluctuations can be interpreted as external confirmation of something meaningful unfolding. This is a well-documented aspect of how attention and expectation interact. The brain prioritizes information that aligns with what it is already focused on, which can make patterns appear more intentional than they actually are. In reality, moments of calm, warmth, or sudden reflection are usually the result of internal regulation processes, your nervous system shifting between states of activation and rest. Hope itself can create a physiological response, influencing mood and perception without requiring any external event to trigger it. Because of this, people can sometimes feel as though something is, quote, approaching, or, quote, aligning, when what is actually happening is a natural cycle of emotional anticipation building and releasing within them. It is also common for language about destiny or timing to emerge during these states, as it gives structure to feelings that might otherwise feel uncertain or diffuse. While these narratives can be emotionally comforting, it is still important to recognize them as interpretations rather than confirmations. Real change in life tends to reveal itself through concrete actions, communication, and observable events, rather than symbolic sensations alone. Grounding expectation in reality allows hope to remain healthy and steady, rather than dependent on imagined signals. Do not scroll, because the moment you leave, you might miss the preparation heaven is doing in your heart right now. Think of it. What if the delivery comes and you are not ready? That is why this word is reaching you tonight, to align you, to prepare you, to make your heart say, "Yes, Lord, my home is open, my life is ready." Archangel Michael declares, the sign will not confuse you. The sign will comfort you. The sign will confirm that the package belongs to you and no one else. And when it comes, you will know this message was not just talk, it was a prophecy. Now, speak this with faith. I will not miss the signs. I will not miss the blessing. My home is ready. Say it. Believe it. Let heaven seal it. Hold on. Stay with me. Because this is the moment you've been waiting for. We've spoken about the signs, the feeling, the delivery. But now imagine what happens when the blessing finally crosses your threshold. Someone asked about your address, but heaven already knew it. And when heaven decides to visit, nothing looks the same again. Picture it clearly. As the blessing enters your home, the air itself feels lighter. The heaviness that once sat in the corners of your rooms begins to lift. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts. Where there was silence, now there is peace. Where there was confusion, now there is clarity. Beloved soul, this is what it feels like when heaven steps inside. Stay with me. You may hear laughter where there was none. You may see doors opening that were locked for years. You may feel a calm that explains nothing but heals everything. This is the divine fingerprint left on your home when the blessing arrives. And once it enters, it never leaves empty. It multiplies, it overflows, it transforms. Archangel Michael stands guard at your door, not letting the blessings slip away. He declares, this house will no longer carry sorrow. This address will no longer be overlooked. This home is now a vessel of miracles. That is why you are hearing this before tomorrow, because the change is already on the way, and heaven wants you to expect it. Prepare for it. Welcome it. Beloved soul, do not doubt. Your home is becoming holy ground. Every room will tell a new story. Every wall will carry a new echo. And when people see you, they will wonder what changed. But you will know, heaven visited my house. Declare this with faith right now. seal it. Hold on. Don't scroll now, because this is where the story turns even greater. We've spoken about the moment the blessing enters your house, but what happens after it settles? What happens when heaven decides not just to visit, but to stay? Stay with me, because the change touches every corner of your life. First, your health. The same body that carried heaviness will suddenly feel renewed. Energy will rise where fatigue lived. Peace will move through your veins like medicine no doctor can prescribe. Beloved soul, when heaven settles in your home, even your body responds. Second, your relationships. Broken connections will begin to heal. Misunderstandings will dissolve like smoke. The people meant for you will find their way back, and those never meant for you will quietly fade away. Archangel Michael will ensure only truth and love remain under your roof. Third, your finances. That hope often shows up as a belief that circumstances are shifting in a positive direction, especially in areas like finances, relationships, or personal well-being. While it's encouraging to stay open to improvement, real change usually comes through gradual steps rather than sudden, sweeping transformation. Opportunities tend to appear when preparation meets timing, when skills, decisions, and external conditions align over time. In the same way, emotional healing is rarely instant. It develops through reflection, support, and small consistent changes in how we respond to life's challenges. Moments of loneliness or doubt can feel heavy, but they are also part of a broader human experience that many people move through in different stages of life. What often helps most is reconnecting with practical grounding, routines, relationships built on trust, and choices that create stability, rather than waiting for external signs to define direction. It can also feel meaningful to interpret everyday events as signals or messages, especially when seeking reassurance. But it's important to stay anchored in what can be observed and verified rather than assigning certainty to coincidence or external forces. There is no reliable evidence that specific personal details like addresses or private information are influenced by spiritual direction or symbolic messaging. Likewise, while faith and belief systems can provide comfort and motivation for many people, they are most supportive when they encourage responsibility, clarity, and constructive action in real life. Healing, growth, and opportunity are generally shaped by a combination of mindset, environment, and effort, rather than predetermined declarations. Focusing on what can be actively improved, emotional resilience, financial planning, relationships, and personal goals, creates a more stable foundation than waiting for external affirmation. Over time, this grounded approach is what most consistently leads to meaningful change and a stronger sense of direction. Picture this. Neighbors who once saw silence at your door will now see joy spilling out like light through your windows. Friends who once thought you were forgotten will wonder how everything shifted in your favor. Even strangers will sense something different when they stand near you. That difference is not luck, it is heaven's mark, resting on your life. Beloved soul, your testimony becomes the answer to someone else's prayer. When they see your health restored, they will believe healing is possible. When they see your relationships mended, they will believe reconciliation can happen. When they see your finances rise, they will believe provision is real. And when they see your joy return, they will know heaven has not abandoned them either. Stay with me. Archangel Michael is not just protecting your blessing, he is amplifying it. He declares, "This child's home shall be a beacon, their story shall be a testimony, their life shall point others back to heaven." That is why your address was marked, because heaven knew your miracle would speak louder than words ever could. And here's the beauty. Your blessing doesn't stop with you. It overflows. It touches your family, your friends, even those who never told you they were watching. Your life becomes a doorway, showing them that if heaven can do it for you, it can do it for them too. Now, declare this boldly. testimony is a signal. My life is a beacon. My story will inspire others. Speak it, because heaven wants you to own this truth. Hold on. Don't scroll now, because this is where the mystery deepens. Your blessing was never meant to stop with you. When heaven touches your house, it begins to overflow. And as it overflows into others, it multiplies and comes back to you even stronger. Someone asking about your address was not just about finding you, it was about identifying the place where multiplication would begin. Stay with me. Imagine your home as a fountain. At first, the water rises just for you. Peace fill in your heart, joy resting on your family, provision flowing through your hands. But then, that fountain spills outward. Others around you drink from it. There's something quietly powerful about how generosity moves through people. When someone shares encouragement, kindness, or even a personal story of growth, it rarely ends with the person it came from. It travels. It reaches strangers who needed those exact words at the right moment. And it finds its way into conversations between friends who were quietly carrying more than they showed. What begins as a small act of giving often returns in ways that are not immediate or predictable, but still noticeable over time. Not as a dramatic reward, but as a steady unfolding of connection, more understanding in conversations, more openness in relationships, and more moments where people feel less alone than they did before. In that sense, sharing what we have learned or experienced doesn't take anything away from us. If anything, it tends to deepen our own awareness of what we have lived through. There is a natural cycle in human interaction where what is expressed outwardly often circles back in new forms, through insight, through support from others, or through a clearer sense of purpose in one's own life. When people witness their words or actions helping someone else, it often reinforces their own sense of meaning, creating a quieter but lasting sense of fulfillment. It's less about sudden returns and more about gradual growth, where giving and receiving become part of the same ongoing flow. Over time, this can reshape how someone sees their place in the world, not as isolated, but as part of a larger exchange of experiences, emotions, and understanding that constantly moves between people.